So Blackburn Rovers are looking to put their unbeaten streak on the line this weekend as they take on Hull City at Ewood Park. Can they get another victory under their belts, or will it be the Tigers taking away all 3 points? We're going to get into it next. The match preview look forward. That's right, folks. Back once again with another match preview looking forward to Blackburn Rovers taking on Hull City at Ewood Park, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you've been, smash your subscribe button back to all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one Ruski, that's right, of course. Hull City bouncing back this past week with a stonking victory over Sheffield Wednesday. They're hoping to roll that form to a cheeky victory over us, of course, Blackburn Rovers, this coming weekend. We'll take a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. You know who they are. But anyway, let's get cracking and have a look at what we're talking about. That's right. It is, of course, the big one. Come on then, mate. Switch on. There we go. Of course, it is Hull City going to Ewood. Blackburn Rovers are the hosts, of course. Let's take a little look at Blackburn Rovers again. Week by week, the points per match increases or decreases for these managers. So, and also the size of our squad seems to be diminishing. But this is mainly aimed for the Hull City fans. A kind of an overview of Rovers. JDT is our manager with a 1.65 points per match ratio at the moment, with, of course, a record against Hull. He's managed against them twice, picked up a win and a draw. Of course, the one and only time he faced Liam Racina in the dugout, it ended up all square. Of course, the most valuable player on our books, according to this anyway, is Tyrese Dolan. And now, if you are a Blackburn Rovers fan or just a Championship fan, do you agree or disagree with that valuation? Do you think he's our most valuable player? Do you think there's somebody else? If I have a quick, that's got to be Adam Wharton, really. It's got to be Adam Wharton. And of course, down there, a quick look at the ratios of players: 7 foreigners, 1 national team player, an average age of 23.61 of the top 3, I think, youngest squads in the league. And this is a quick overview of that team. Of course, we've been strengthening our goalkeeper ranks with, of course, what's kind of like 1 for 1, really. Kaminski going out, Leopold Walstead coming in, but he's yet to make his debut. Some people are saying throw him in now. For me, I think Pears should remain. He wasn't really at fault for any of the goals so far, so I think he's going to stick around. But he's got to be on his tippy toes. He's got to be on his best. I think his first game will probably be the, unless something disastrously go wrong there, will be against Harrogate. So we'll see him then. Of course, Dom Hyam at the back there alongside Hayden Carter and co. We'll see if there's going to be much change as well to the ranks. It is a threadbare squad, a very young squad. Of course, we already talked about that many times. Of course, a lot of our hopes and dreams rest on the shoulders of Adam Wharton right now. He is the creative force, youngster, of course, season by season or game by game, trying to grab the attention, the spotlight for him. Yet to see Anna Sigurdsson. There's going to be a few months, at least a couple of weeks anyway. I'd say another month before we can get a sniff of him in the blue and white halves. And of course, threadbare up top. Is it probably a good time to play Rovers, even though we start off okay. I just think we're a little threadbare, and I'm hoping our squad's going to increase before the window shuts. Of course, this is where the goals have come out so far. Sammy Smarch with a couple of goals so far and assists. Leonard McInday also on the score sheet. Wharton and Travis, the assist makers in amongst our shenanigans so far. The standout player has been Smarch, despite his howler in the first half against Rotherham. The penalty miss, the error that cost us the lead in that game. But Adam Wharton, Britton, of course, and some other players, all above the 7. That's just great. But realistically, the average of our performances have dipped since the first game against West Brom. It's decreased now. We were average over 7 per match or per player per match, whatever. Now it's now 6.87. So we need to raise our game performance wise to kind of get back into it. So 2 matches so far, 5 goals scored, 4 goals conceded. That could be an indication maybe for JDT to mix it up in the goalkeeping departments, of course. Goals per game, 2.5. We've had penalty. It says a goal in there, so I'm not too sure about that. So that's a bit dubious. We've not had a penalty goal. It was missed. So whoever's putting that stat in there needs to change that up. Of course, if you look at the defending as well, no red cards so far, averaging around about 9.5 fouls a game with a 50% success rate in the aerial duels department. This is our transfer window so far. Of course, 3 Scandinavians and Irelanders from Plymouth. Two of those four have made a start so far. We're waiting on Arnold Sigurdsson and Wallstatt to make their debuts. We've lost Kaminski, Taylor Dunn. Who else have we lost here? We've got, of course, Diaz, Phillips, Bradley Dack, who's, of course, over at Sunderland now. Let's take a look at the resume so far. Rovers opened up with a 2-1 win over West Brom, 4-3 thriller. Walsall in the Cup in a much changed squad, 2-2 draw against Rotherham, which does look like drop points, but when you look at the scenario that point was picked up on, we're 2-0 down, guys. 2-0 down. The heads were dropped, but we managed to salvage a point out of that one. Of course, what's going on for Rovers after this game? Watford next week. That's, of course, down at Vicarage Road on Sunday. All eyes on that one. And then, of course, Carabao Cup action, Harrogate Town. That's another away day. 3 away days on the spin before a long trip to Plymouth as well. So a bit of a crazy end to the month of August, or before the international break, should we say. Then we come back, of course, taking on Middlesbrough and Sunderland back at Ewood Park. Back-to-back home games against the North East Bayer boys. This is my lineup here. Of course, it probably won't be this lineup, but that's what I would say. I watch them week in, week out regularly. And I'd say Pears gets the nod at the moment. Pickering, Hyam, Carter, JRC for me at right back. Travis, Wharton, I guess, Tronstad, he might be a bit more composed on the ball, but you do need your captain. You do need some tenacity, you need some bite as well. It's at Ewood Park, so we've got to at least get something out of this game, if all honest with you. Smodic cannot stop. He dropped at the moment. He is the face of the place, believe it or not. They've got Dolan, Hedges, Gallagher, the experienced trio, so I'm dropping McInday, I'm dropping Leonard in my eyes, but they could feature. The JDT has other ideas as well. Let's take a look at our opposition then, of course. Hull City, managed by Liam Senior, just 39 years old. He's a baby. I'm older than the guy himself. He's actually been in charge since November 2022, so we're coming up near his 1-year anniversary. He's got a 1.5 points per match ratio. He's managed against Rovers just the one time, picking up a draw. The most valuable player at the moment, according to this, is Jacob Greaves, young 22-year-old left-sided centre-back. They're like rocking all shit at the back there, of course. 28 players on the books, 15 foreigners, 1 national player, 24.3 average age of the camp over at the KCOM. Let's take a little look at the players then. This is, of course, the goalkeeping and defensive ranks. You got Cyrus Christie, a veteran there. Jacob Greaves, we already talked about him a little bit. And of course, between the sticks, Matt Ingram has been number 1 thus far. Into midfield, where they have got some real good quality. You got Turfan opening up a buttload of goals so far this season. We've got Ryan Woods, of course, familiar favourite, Iranian Shedimadesh, Javier Simons, not that one, this one, Ryan Longman, of course, some other familiar names as well. Up top, you got Delap, you got Connolly, you got Esteban. There's 3 forwards there that will all score goals. So very good striking ranks. And I think, well, Connolly's there on a permanent. Esteban also. Delap might be there on a loan. But so far, this is what it looks like, of course, with the goals and assists. Turfan with 3 goals with a hat-trick last week. Of course, Connolly, Delap, Slater, and Traore amongst the goals and the assists so far. The standout there, their average rate, and we'll get to that in a minute, but Tufan is your main man right now. Coyle at the back there, Slater, and of course the chasing pack. Lots of good numbers. A couple of guys there below 7 on average, but we don't have it. I didn't take it. But of course, so far they played twice. They scored 5, they conceded 4, so it's kind of similar to Rovers, just doing enough to outscore themselves, really. And of course, goals per game 2.5. So we could be in for a thriller at Ewood. I'm hoping there's only 1 goal in it, and I'm hoping it's going to Rovers. But of course, no red cards thus far. And Ariel's one. I'm hoping this is different. I'm hoping I haven't copied the same stats here. But anyway, their transfer business has been like this. Of course, Connolly coming in, Delap's coming in on loan. They've got Vinegare as well at the back end of the pitch. There's Xavier Simons, of course. Their resume so far with a 2-1 win opener. Sorry, a loss, 2-1 loss to Norwich. They did also lose to Doncaster in the Cup, which of course is a bit of a damp squib. But they bounced back in style against a questionable Sheffield Wednesday side. We don't know if that's giving plaudits to Hull or just Sheffield Wednesday are that shit. We don't know. So, of course, after this game, they take on Bristol City. That's all eyes on that. Next Friday, then it's Leicester. Of course, Saturday, second. That's the last game before the international break. Then, of course, they take on Coventry. Then they take on Leeds. Both games at home before they take on Stoke on the road there, 23rd of September. This is how I think they'll line up. Again, I probably have no idea. Ingram between sticks, Vinegar at left back. We got Greaves, we got Jones, we got Coyle, we got Seri, we got Slater, Tufan in there, Lokilo, Traore, and Delap. Connolly on the bench as well. you're spoiled for choice in a little bit of this. And maybe, there's some question marks. I don't think Esteban, I don't know what his situation is. He flew off the box last time around, scoring a buttload of goals, kind of went off it a little bit. Is there a spot left in this team for him? Will he be also made available for transfer? Who knows? Let's take a look at the teams then in a broader sense, or this match in a broader sense. Let's take a look at the values of these teams. Of course, Hull City have a more expensive team on paper, 61 million euros compared to the 54 million euros of Rovers. They have a O market value or E market value there of 2.45 with 2.17 for Rovers. Again, their play average age is older than ours. They have more youth nationals compared to ours, and of course more foreigners. But the form, of course, both top and the bottom there. The bottom one represents Hull City. They picked up that win against Sheffield Wednesday, of course. Prior to that, a couple of defeats so far. Rovers just one defeat over the blip of the last few games. So again, these are pre-seasons intermixed with, of course, the league and the cup. Let's take a look at this game then, of course, over the last few occasions. Now, this is, of course, both home and away. Of course, Rovers have a better record against Hull, both home and away. When you combine, of course, played 6 of the last 6. We won 4 of them. We lost once and picked up 1 draw. That 1 defeat was a couple of seasons ago back at the KCOM, 2-0 when it was. That was that the one that they postponed on the Boxing Day, and then it came back around and then bit us in the arse. I think that's the day that they got took over as well. So correct me if I'm wrong. So, but prior to that, we had a nice little run against them. Our record against them at Ewood Park is not the greatest over the last 6. We've only won 3 of them. They picked up a couple of wins, and there's been a draw, of course. However, we are unbeaten in the last 4, which is great. And I hope we haven't conceded a goal against them in the last 4 as well. So let's ride that momentum train and make it another clean sheet affair. Of course, we are lacking in numbers. We have no Armstrong these days, no Diaz, no Dak. So where are the goals going to come from? We'll have to see. Will it be Sam Gallagher? Now, let's take a look at what we can expect from this game. Look at Rovers' strengths compared to Hull City's, and of course, kind of get a broad sense of this match itself. Rovers' strength, creating chances through individual skill, coming back from losing positions, and stealing the ball from the opposition. We also like to come down the wings. Our weaknesses, though, avoiding offside, aerial duels, avoiding individual errors, and of course, stopping opponents from creating chances. Our style of play is we play out wide, through balls a lot, and of course preferring the left to the right. We're a possession-based side, and of course our opponents also like to play aggressively against us. As for Hull City's strengths, they're of course major strengths of scoring, finishing scoring chances, creating long shot opportunities, and coming back from losing positions, of course. So if basically what we're saying here, this game is never over. Even if Rovers take the lead, if Hull take the lead, this game has still got a lot of fight in it because of the mentality of these two sides here. Hull's weaknesses, though, stopping avoiding opponents creating chances, individual errors, defending set pieces, protecting the lead, defending against long shots, and of course defending through balls. Their style of play is long shots, short passes. They prefer the right to the left, possession-based football, play with width. They, of course, like the offside trap, rotate their 11 as well, and also allow their opponents to play aggressively against them. So they're kind of comparable sort of styles of play. The forecast is Rovers will make a comeback, Hull will score as a result of an error, but Blackburn Rovers will stray offside often. So it does smell like they're kind of cancelling each other out. The broader sense of this, of course, 17 times they played each other since 2008. Rovers, of course, 9 wins, 4 defeats, and there's been 4 draws. Our biggest win over Hull was a 3-0 win. We scored 17 goals in those 17 games. As a goal again on average. Up against Hull, though, 2-0 win was their biggest. 10 goals scored in those 17 games, 0.59 goals a game average, of course. And the bookies do fancy Rovers on this one. 2017 on 60-5 is, of course, the away side here. Take from that from what you will. What else is going on out in the Championship? Well, of course, it all kicks off on Friday. Leeds against West Brom, bit of a zinger, that bad boy. Then, of course, early kick-off for Plymouth against Southampton, a bit of a coastal affair on there. Then, of course, all eyes will be on Rovers at Ewood Park as they take on Hull City. Other zingers, Middlesbrough, Huddersfield, Swansea, Coventry. We have Sheffield Wednesday, Preston, Sunderland, Rotherham, Bristol City, Birmingham, Leicester City, Cardiff, QPR, Ipswich, Stoke, Watford. And, of course, into Sunday, we have Norwich up against Millwall. But, of course, this is the table right here, right now. 2 games in. Ipswich, Leicester flying high. Huddersfield, Middlesbrough, and Wednesday going down. Of course, Hull City sitting 12th, Rovers sitting 7th, but it is early. And of course, my cheeky ass prediction here, of course, for this game. It's a toughie. It is a toughie at Hull. I'm scared a little bit about Hull because of the 4 they put past Sheffield Wednesday. That was at home though. Prior to that, couple of dodgy away games. Our record against them is pretty good. And of course, Rovers at home, we did beat West Brom. We did have score 4 goals with rotated squad against Walsall. So, and our fight back against Rotherham was great. So I'm hoping the momentum is still with us. And of course, we're going to nick this one. I'm hoping with a 2-1 win. There's goals in this game for sure. And Rovers, in my eyes, are going to snatch it with the 3 points. That's my take. Let me know your take, of course, down below. We're going to hope to have some more videos about this game, the build-up. Hopefully having a chat with a Hull City fan, maybe even a combined 11, because there are some tasty players. Of course, that could make a really good team if we could combine them. And of course, we have the watch-along, we have the pre-game perhaps, post-game, of course, review, vlog, all that kind of jazz coming at you. So make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell, guys and girls, and I'll see you soon when we come back for another one.